Well, guys, obviously this is Intro to Audiovisual. If you're looking for anything else, you're in the wrong spot. You can get up and leave now, and I will not make fun of you. But if I find out that you waited to the end, then I am going to make fun of you. I'm just kidding. My name's Cody Tilley. I am the young adult and media / production pastor at the Cowboy Church of Brenham, right outside College Station, Gig'em Ags. And if you're from Austin, I'll just pretend you didn't say that. But what we're going to dive into today is really the basics of audiovisual. I don't know where everybody is. I don't know what everybody's streaming with. I don't know what everybody's doing. But I do know that in this scenario, like, we're going to start from the base. And if you want more, you want to do more. If you're saying, hey, I'm ready to start a podcast or something like that, we will do stuff, and that's the reason we're getting these contact information. But obviously, I'm going to not have time for that, but you can talk to me after we get done with some of these sessions. So I'm going to start here. The very first thing that we're going to talk about is lyric slides. And essentially, it is what it says it is. Hey, how are we getting the words on the screen about things that, like, how are we creating that atmosphere for people to sing along in, whether it's in service or online? For us, we do broadcast our lyrics online as well, which is something that really runs through. And there's 3 things that I really recommend, or really there's 4, depending on where you're at, is Pro Presenter, Easy Worship, and PowerPoint, or Keynote if you have a Mac. So those are 3/4 things that you can use. Really, Pro Presenter is what I consider to be the industry standard. I mean, not even me consider, it is the industry standard. It is what most people use. It's about $300 a year, I think, is what they actually have a subscription platform that's monthly now that you can use. But Pro Presenter is a beast. It is simple enough that pretty much anybody can use it, but also complex enough that I program all kinds of stuff through there. So we do really recommend that. We may do some sessions on that as far as webinars, how to use some things. So does anybody in here already use Pro Presenter? A couple of y'all familiar with that? So Pro Presenter is a great way to do it. I do know some people use Easy Worship. I don't have any ties to Easy Worship, or I've never used it, so I can't really speak to it, but I do know some people really like it and use it. Here's actually kind of what it looks like. The screen is kind of distorted based off how it's going to the TV, but this would be just something to look at. You can click on stuff, you can build stuff, you can make sermons, slides, graphics, all these things that are going on. So that's a big part of that. So when it comes to that, we talk about audio and visual things. And when we're going to kind of hone in on the visual part first, and then we'll get to some of the audio things later. One thing you should know as a church, if your church is a 501c3, which means you are a nonprofit, you actually get Canva Pro for free. So you have to register with Canva. Now, a lot of people are familiar with this, but Canva Pro, I forget what it actually costs a month. I want to say it's $20 or $30 a month if you weren't. If you're not a 501c3, but Canva Pro has got a lot of stuff in it. It is a great tool to make sermon slides, to make like sermon graphics, or to make all these things. You can do the lyrics actually in Pro Presenter, but if you want to make things that are like flyers or announcements or whatever, you can use Canva, and Canva Pro has got all kinds of features with it. The normal Canva is fine too. Like I said, you just have to go through the process of getting it approved through being a 501c3. They will require some information for you, but it saves you for the life of the for what you use it for. We use it all the time. I tell people this because I want you to understand that it works for the church that runs 50 to a church that runs 5,000. People use it all the time. We are one of the bigger churches, and we use it all the time. I mean, our staff, people it's a very easy tool. It's a lot of templates, things like that. So I do recommend that on the audio visual side of things. Like I said, you can just sign up for it. It'll say, I think you can type in Canva for nonprofits, and it'll pop right up. So Canva is a great tool. Next is streaming. Here's a few things that you can use to stream. Is OBS, Restream, and StreamYard. So what are these? These are how you actually get the stream out, whatever you're streaming from. I'm gonna get to some of the basics of this, but you just kind of need to understand this is kind of what you're gonna, some things you can use your stream. I understand. This is like drinking from a fire hose right now. I'm giving you a lot of information very quick, but I'm trying to make sure we have enough time to answer some of your questions. So you can write a question down or stop me, ask me. But what this OBS is free, a little more complicated. It's not crazy, but it is a great free software. I will say this that you do need to be aware of. OBS, if you don't have great internet, it's probably not for you. For every stream or every destination that you have in OBS, so let's say when a destination would be like Facebook or YouTube, and I'm going to talk about Facebook here in just a minute, but for every destination you have, it takes that much more bandwidth. Here is the rule of thumb that I will tell you when it comes to streaming on your streaming quality is whatever you are streaming in, and most things should be able to tell you, you can look it up. If your stream is picking up 5 megabits a second, not megabit, 5 megabits a second. My words aren't wording, but you would actually need a bare minimum of 15 megabits a second upload. That is and that's pushing it. I would not recommend for us. We run at 8. So it's always 3 times whatever is what the industry standard calls. Hey, that's enough internet to stream in this, because you're gonna have your ups and your downs and things like that. So I really don't even recommend that for me. If I was running 5 megabits a second, I would say I wouldn't touch it unless you're going 30 up, 30 down. So what does that mean? That's 30 upload speed, 30 download speed. A good way that will give you a roundabout. It doesn't give you true numbers, but if you go to like speedtest.net. Or something like that, it will tell you what your upload and download speeds are. It's actually not your true upload and download speeds, just so y'all kind of know this. It's actually, it makes you feel good about what it is. It's not true though. It's really not. Because the real tests they run behind the scenes, I'm not an IT guy. My IT guys just tell me about this. But if you have something like fiber, you're doing great. But if you're on something that is just a wireless connection, but regardless of that, if you'll at least do a speed test, if you're only getting like 9 or 10 upload, you better stream in the lowest quality you got. Because if not, your stream's gonna fail. I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to give you as much information as I can. But rule of thumb would be at least bare minimum 3 times whatever your stream quality is. And you can find stuff out about that. So what I'm going to show you now is kind of getting into more of what are we doing. I'm not going to, you don't have to raise your hand, but I know a lot of people maybe are streaming with an iPhone still. They have an iPhone set up in the back or something like that. If that's you, that's okay. But I would recommend you need to start making ways to kind of get away from that. And you say, well, hey man, we don't really have a whole lot of a budget. I want to show you something. There's this camera right here. This was taken last year. I don't know if they're still the same or not. This is called a Logitech Mevo Start. They were running about $300, $330 last time. And this is actually a web-based controlled camera. It's very good. It actually streams directly to the web through your internet. You don't have to have all the fancy other stuff to do it. I've heard good things about them. They may have even went down in price. I haven't looked at them recently. But it's a good starter camera. I think it actually streams in 1080p if I'm correct. So you're getting a decent stream out of it. And I know on the back of it, which is a huge thing, and we were talking about this in one of the band sessions, is it has a external mic plug. You got an external mic plug in the back. It's a 3.5 millimeter jack. So you could actually run a cord from your mixing station, from your soundboard to this, and you're getting audio from the board into the camera. I will say this, if at all possible, you don't want to have just an internal mic running sound. So what I'm saying is, Here's the issue is, if I set a camera up at the back of the sanctuary or set a set my iPhone up at the back of the sanctuary, and I just am getting whatever is coming through the mic right there, well, guess what? When Bob and Sally are sitting on the back row gossiping, guess what the camera's going to pick up? Now, I will say this. It is a challenge and it is difficult to get a stream. The number one thing we hear, we had a big conversation about this earlier, was it doesn't sound as good. The stream doesn't. It's something we say you're going to have to invest in. If you want the stream to sound good and stuff like that, the band, I know how picky musicians are. They're the biggest bunch of divas I've ever met in my entire life. I get it. But you're going to have to invest in that and have somebody that knows sound and knows how to mix a correct stream based off whatever board you're running. This is an important thing. This is a big deal. And we have to put some time into it. It's not just, oh, we're just going to, I mean, if you want it to be good quality, you're going to have to do just like they do with arena events, whatever, spend time, spend money, spend things to invest in it. So this is a great camera. If you're just starting out, don't have a whole lot of budget. Here's some other, if you're in a spot where maybe you're looking for something a little bit different, going with a PTZ camera. There's lots of options here. This does get into a little more of the market range because you got to have a joystick controller to control them. Some other things they have, you can go as little or as high as you want to in here. Here's some just mid-range cameras. They actually make some of these with auto tracking in them now. We actually just upgraded to 3 new ones the start of this year, and they have AI auto tracking where I can press a button and you will see, and I'll kind of explain some of the camera setup we run here in a little bit. But these are some options. Here's some camcorders that also work. This is what we actually use in-house is the Panasonic HCX2s. They are great cameras. Yes, they are pricey. I get it. But you're going to pay for quality in this world. I'm just shooting you straight. I ain't trying to fluff your top. I mean, it is, you pay for what you get. If you can buy decent stuff that's a little cheaper, but for us, it was worth making the investment to go ahead and spend a little extra money and get the camera. So if you were wanting to buy one nicer camera, that would be something. It does have a little brother, which is the X2000. I hear they're great cameras. I think they run these at bar none. I think, or the X2000 and X200, I don't remember, but they might have the 200 at bar none. But there's a whole line of these cameras. They are great plug-and-play cameras. You can run them directly in there. I've heard great things about the whole entire line, so that's why like I said, you do your research. You find out what you want to do. There is so many church camera reviews out there. Do your due diligence. I'm just giving you stuff to run with. So there's some, here is a set of, if your pastor likes to do iPhone video, like devotions or whatever from his iPhone in the mornings, or likes to do promo videos, anything like that, here's a great little set. They're called Holyland Arc M1s. They have a new one that's an M2, and they might even be at an M3 now. This was, like I said, this is just what we have and what I like and what we use. Rode makes some of these mics. They're just little wireless mics that plug into your phone. And what it does is, like I said, instead of you getting the iPhone just quality, you get a good mic that goes on you, and when you record a video from your phone, I mean, this plugs into the bottom of your phone. Because let me tell you something, using an iPhone for like the morning devotions, or to be like, hey, I'm inviting you to Easter type deal, is a great deal. iPhone has a great camera on them. They really do. They have some of the best cameras money can, and I'm not going to say money can buy, but for what you want to do in your everyday use, they are great cameras. I would say use them. They're just not great when it comes to live streaming a service that goes on there. So something to think about there. Those are just some cameras. There's some other options out there. I would say, remember, you're going to pay for what you get. There's some out there that are $25. You pay for what you get. If you are at a spot where you're like, man, okay, what you've been saying doesn't really apply to me to a whole lot. We're at a spot where we're ready to move up a little bit, do a few more things. This is called a live stream switcher. ATEM makes them. They actually have them in ISO, so if you're at the spot where you're using more than one camera, is what this is getting to. Or even if you're using one camera and you're trying to get ProPresenter brought into it, this would be a great spot to give everything. Because what you do need to know is you cannot just run a camera directly into your computer and expect it to work. You have to have what's called a capture card. A capture card converts the signal and makes it to where the computer can read it, essentially. This is built in on all 4 inputs. So you can take your computer that's sending live stream and things. You can do some overlays. We have one of these. It's just a lot bigger model. And it's all, but this is a great, entry level deal. Now, I believe what I have done, and I don't want to jump too far in here. I'm going to show you these, and then I want to take questions because this is what I was trying to get to, and then we can go back and talk about some other things. So, understand, what I'm fixing to show you does not, I just want to show you, maybe give you some vision, but also let you into some of what the production world looks like if you're not really used to it. If you do know about it, great, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If not, that's okay. I just want to show you. This next picture is a diagram of how we actually run our live stream at Cowboy Church of Brenham. So I'm gonna can somebody cut those lights back there if you don't mind, just so people can. I know that with the lights on it'll be. All right. Oh, we got dark. Look, yeah. No, you can leave them off. Can everybody see this? All right. Somewhat. I know in the back it may be a little harder. So here's what I want to actually show you. Is when I'm talking about the switcher, and like I said, this is just fun. I enjoy it, so this is something I care about. So we have a ProPresenter computer, and yes, we run 10 cameras. We have a bunch of different cameras running a bunch of different angles, which is something we enjoy. And then we have this Black Magic constellation. Is the same thing that I just showed you, just in a bigger version. All right, so it is it is my switching hub. So all that runs into this, and then I'm able to send stuff out from there. So you say, well, because maybe you've wondered, how do you get a bunch of different cameras onto a live stream? Well, from here, we're able to switch. This is what this ATEM means. This is the exact same thing. The software is actually the same across the board, whether you have the small little ATEM Mini or you have the ATEM Constellation 4K like we run. It doesn't matter. It's the same software, essentially, just looks a little bit different. We run a Stream Deck with that to control it. That doesn't really matter. But what I want you to realize is this is where a lot of you kind of have asked questions, and this is the reason I'm showing you this, is this is how we get different things to different places. You can program this to send this to different, like I can send different things to different places where, like this Black Magic Web Presenter, you don't have to use this. This is just what we use. But you could use, this is what encodes our software, and then we use Restream. You could use OBS, whatever you want to use, and that's how it gets to all 3 places. This is, like I said, this is something fun. I hope this gives you some passion maybe about this. Like, man, I love media. I really do. So this gives you something like that. The next question that I run into a lot is, okay, well, where do I place my cameras? So this is kind of what I want to show you, and I know this is going to be hard to see if you're not right here because I can barely see it, and I'm right next to it. So let me see, does my laser work? No, it doesn't either. All right, so here's what I'm going to show you. If this was my stage, or this is my stage, this is an actual diagram of what we do. So I have a manned camera. When I say manned camera, that means I have somebody controlling the camera on a tripod. They're sitting there during this. I have a manned camera here, and I have a manned camera here. In the future, when we go to a new system or the new building, we will actually have another manned camera over here. So we have 2 there. Those are I want to say, your most critical angle is your front angle. And then we call this is offset. This is just picking up another side. It's a different shot. We can talk about framing some other time, so those are some things. We also have 3 of the PTZ cameras. These are set on presets. So we have 1 on this side, 2 on the back wall, and 1 up here. You say, Cody, why would you ever put 2 on the back wall? What happens? 1 stays as a wide shot and 1 is a zoomed in shot. You always need an emergency camera angle in case something happens. You can go back and it doesn't look like it was ever a mess up. Just a little tip for you. And then you just create different angles. And then we have 4 what they call POV cameras, which are on, like, if you ever seen a real close-up shot, like somebody playing the keys or the steel guitar or something like that. Instead of people actually walking around with a camera, we just have them already built in that are stationary. All right, will somebody flip those lights back on? Everybody close your eyes so you don't get blinded, maybe. There we go. Let there be light. All right. I know I just threw all kinds of information at you. Here's the good part. If you get on the communication list, I will send you all the notes that I just said. I'll send you everything I just did. I'll actually send you this presentation, and it'll be everything you need right there. The last and final thing I'm going to say before I open it up to some questions, and I hope somebody please have a question, is Facebook. Starting, I was reading it earlier. It actually started February 19th or something like that. If you stream directly to Facebook, Facebook will no longer keep your live stream video longer than 30 days. In June or July, they're giving you the option to download all your live stream videos. Your videos are gone after June, July, whatever it is. You can download them. They will no longer be able to find them on your Facebook page, though, if you live stream them. I'm giving you this as a heads up, so here in 3 months, when your pastor comes up and says, hey, I was trying to find a sermon from 2 years ago, where is it? I can't find it. He's like, oh no, let me go look at that. And it's gone. They're giving you enough time. They are fair about this. They are giving you enough time to get your stuff off there if you want to do that. You say, well, Cody, what's your recommendation? I've been preaching this for the last 2 years since I started doing these clinics. Excuse me. Is if you don't have your own website with a custom RTMP that allows you to stream directly to your website, you really need to start thinking about it. I will tell you this. YouTube has not said that they are going to do this. But don't be surprised. Whenever, at least with your own custom RTMP, your own server, let me say this, your own server is the best way to put it. They don't control you. They can't censor you. They can't do anything. Now, technically, you have to you have to be a little more strict on what your making sure you're not breaking any copyright laws, making sure you're licensed properly when you stream stuff, those areas. But just because they don't like something you say, they can't take you offline for that. And if you will find a place that houses that storage, I know MediaQuest builds a lot of websites for some people. I'm going to talk about some of this in the website section here in just a little bit. There's a few different options that we've been looking at, some stuff that I use, but you have resources that are there. So, like I said, Drinking Out Fires, what questions do y'all have?
One question.
Yep.
Capture card, is that what you said earlier?
So a capture card it's to get from a oh, I thought he was grabbing one back there. They have when you pick down, I was like, he's got one. I was going to show.
The camera to the computer?
Yes.
Is it like
yes.
a cord? Or?
It's most of them are just like a little adapter essentially, and it like HDMI goes in one side and it comes out, and it's literally. I've got some of them that are like this big, but if you go with something like a switcher, like it's already built in there.
Well, we have a camera. We have the computer sitting there, but I don't know what it's hooked up to because I just started on the YouTube deal on live.
Is it coming through?
Yeah, but the thing is that our church is in the middle of nowhere,
mm-hmm.
and the internet is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Which our church is really cheap too.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 5 gigabytes or something like that.
Ooh.
And then we went up to 10, and that's all we got still. So
yeah.
I keep on telling them. I mean, okay,
yeah.
You pay for what you get.
You do pay for what you get.
So that he's streaming more now, I'm like, what do we do to improve it some more? So that might be.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, until your internet gets some more, there's not much. you're going to have to stream literally in the lowest setting you can get. I mean, we just now got fiber into where we're at, which
we probably never get it.
yeah. But I will say, and I don't know if y'all heard any good things back there with the Starlink, people using it.
Ours where we were it was in and out.
Was it?
Yeah. So finally though we are getting fiber to our area.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about. I've heard some people really have had good luck with Starlink, but I have heard some people, you know, it's
Starlink, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, and we've been successful with it.
yeah.
Do you have a tin roof metal building like a barn?
Yes, she said yes.
Metal building.
So that could be an option, but really that's one of those losing battle. Like until you have decent internet to stream, you know. And I understand that's why some people do use an iPhone, is their internet just doesn't pick up enough. So great question. What else? Yep, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So having like the vision of where you guys are
Mhm.
at as a church, starting at like a smaller church,
Mhm.
what would be like the steps that you would suggest? Like once you reach a certain amount, adding another camera, and once you reach a certain amount, adding like the POVs of the like musical instruments. Like is there like
Great.
stepping?
Great question. It's really depending on, one, obviously budget, but two, the biggest thing would be you want good shots first. So like creating, like having a good camera really the thing. That's what I'm going back to, is having a good piece of equipment that you're like getting you can get a front on shot and a side shot, even if they're both at the back, where one's a wide shot, one's a zoomed in shot, something like that. And then just slowly adding stuff as you go. And then it's really, this is the passion. It's whatever you want to try to run with and go. But I would say, just say, where do you start, to answer your question, would be first making sure that you got a good clear shot of your pastors or of the band. One or two cameras at the back. That's where you start. Really, a lot of people, they run it here. I didn't realize it. They run the PTZ cameras here. If you had a couple PTZ cameras, because you can get those a little bit cheaper, as far as a whole package deal goes, and one person can run them. You don't have to have, that's the thing about man cameras. You got to have one person on each camera, so you're more volunteer support. You can buy a pretty decent package of the PTZ cameras, of where you put one on each side and one in the back. That's where I really send a lot of people, is like, hey, maybe start with a PTZ system, because they do have, especially if that, and but the other thing that I'm going to jump into this is making sure you have good stage lighting. I will tell you this, and MediaQuest will attest to me back here. You can have a great camera. If your stage is not lit well, if your subject is not lit well, the quality will not come out. It will be grainy. It will be unexposed. The exposure will be off. They'll have to run your ISOs, whatever, so high you won't be able to stand it. It'll look like it was 720p, if you're lucky. So, I say that to say this. Stage lighting is key. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this, and I understand it's a lot. Stage lighting, but also starting, like maybe a PTZ base would be a good, because like I said, in reality is a few $1,000s, you can get a couple cameras, and they sell them as a bundle package, and you'll get a decent discount for that too. So, great question.
Cody, I got a question.
Yep, go for it.
Is there a fix for AI cameras that multi-track? In other words, if you got multiple people moving and you're fixated on a particular, like say your pastor and somebody moves behind them, those AI cameras, in our experience, have a tendency to track whoever's moving. Is there a fix for that?
There is something in the settings that I've seen they've updated here recently. Is what
Or in the operational part of it?
in the IP of the camera. So all those cameras, all those cameras run off IP addresses, so they're network based. So that's another thing you need to understand when you get into this. It's not a super complicated deal, but until you understand what it is, they all connect to a network switch. They all have an assigned IP address. You can go in on the back end. You can control settings, things like that. You can also control them with a remote, honestly. They come with a little, looks like a remote can control remote control, and you can control them there. But I'll be honest, the AI's got some bugs in it still.
Is that like
I'm still running into problems with my auto tracking. They're not.
like a sensitivity kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so. So, great question. Anybody else? Because I'm fixing to have to dismiss this group because it is. We said 1:30, right? Or right? Yeah, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna hold you about 2 more minutes just to make sure we're not disrupting everybody else. But let me ask this: is there any other questions? Okay. All right. Well, last thing I've got then is just make sure, and you don't have to. I know I've been harping on it, but I do want you to be connected and you have the ability to do stuff because we may do stuff like how's a great way to get first camera set up, whatever. If you haven't scanned the QR code, there's one here, one on the wall, and one on the back thing. They all say media above them. If you sign up for that, like I said, we'll just shoot you an email when we're going to do stuff and kind of move from that way forward. If nobody else has got anything, y'all are free to go. If you want to stay in here, I will talk about website and social media, how to use it, what the purpose of it is, and kind of some ways to make it a little more effective. All right, y'all good? All right, y'all free to go. If not, you can stay in here.